Have you ever had to manage your client relationships but you didn't know how to get started? Hi, I'm Jacob, welcome to my channel. In today's video you'll learn about buying specific software for it, DIYing it, and what the best thing to do is for your business right now. So let's get started right now with the first problem you might have. When you start enrolling tens and hundreds of new clients every month, that's really good because your business is scaling, but you do get new problems. And if that's you, you might feel like things are getting overwhelming and hectic right now. And you want to ensure a seamless customer journey, but it feels like you have too many clients to really do it right. Because you don't want your clients to write bad reviews. So if that's you right now, you might have heard about CRM software to solve your problems. So just so we don't lose anyone, what is a CRM software? A CRM software is a client relationship management software. So what do they actually help you with? They help you with managing your client relationships by organizing your data, helping with reminders, helping with sharing information with your customers, and generating data about your sales to have a high-level view of what you're doing in your business. So although that might seem like a good idea, there are a few things to consider before opting for that solution. So before investing your time into looking for the best CRM for your business, let's talk about the limitations of them. The point is you don't want to be spending tons of time if some of the limitations are prohibitive for your business, because it's just going to be a waste of time. So let's start with the first thing you might want to know. They are not customizable. Now, if you go to any selling page of a CRM software, you're going to see that they are customizable. They say that they are. But that's not really what I'm talking about here. They are talking about customizing features. So just so you understand what I mean, let's take a real world example. Let's say you have a 5-step process for every single client that you need to keep track of, and you need to keep track of the progress. So sometimes you switch steps because when a client is struggling with one, it makes more sense to switch one step with another or whatever the reason is. And within each step of your process, you have 3 subcategories of things to achieve. So sometimes you merge 2 steps together, or you add a step, or you remove a step because it makes more sense for this specific client, right? So what's the point of this example? If you need to keep track of all of that, a CRM software won't help you. So we're going to stop for a second because it's really crucial to understand why that is. Is it because all CRM software suck? CRM software companies sell their software to more than one company. That means that there is a trade-off. They need to be standardized to an extent, otherwise they're going to be too complicated to use and no one will buy them. And maybe you think, well, they'll get better, or you will be able to find a better software that will be able to do that. And let's say they do, and let's say you find that better software, and you get to customize that software to the point where the example I gave you is possible to do, and you can keep track of all of those things. If it is customizable to that extent, that would mean that it's as sophisticated and complicated as a programming language. So the question is, then why pay for it? Programming languages are free for the most part, and some CRM softwares are crazy expensive. So my point is, if you're going to invest your time into learning something complicated, you might as well, 1, do that for free, and 2, leverage your time better by learning a skill that you'll be able to leverage in other aspects of your business. Now the last thing is, it won't be yours. So for example, what if they update the software? One thing I can guarantee is that if for whatever reason they choose to update the software, whether you like it or not, they will. And they are not gonna ask you before doing it. So what does that mean for you? That means you'll have to learn the new graphical user interface and potentially rework all your workflows and systems that you built on it. And so what if you want to build on it? So your business is going to grow and your systems will grow with it. One specific software might work at one point, but when clients start accumulating or you need to work on more than one thing at a time because you're solving more problems, then you'll need to change software. So what do you do then? Well, you have to change for more expensive software, and then you'll have to figure out how it works again. Or even worse, you'll keep the same software, but you'll upgrade for a premium version of it. And that's when it starts becoming crazy expensive. I'm not going to criticize the business model, but that's important that you know what you're getting into. So here is how it works. A CRM software is basically free or very low cost at first, and then when you do make money and you do need more features, that's when they will make you pay for it. So now, is it worth it? I'm just going to give you a few things to consider so that you can make your own decision depending on your situation. So as I just talked about, the price is one aspect of it, and you have to consider that the price is per user per month. So it's a subscription kind of thing. Some of them will talk about a price per month and not a price per user per month. But one thing is for sure, it's not going to be a one-time investment. And of course, that's not the real price. The real price is the one that I talked about earlier. once you're invested into the software. So I basically said all I had to say about the price already, so let's move forward. Now, do you want to own your tools? So that's a choice that you have to make for your business. So here's a few things to consider for this one. Do you want to have control over the updates? So as I talked about already, software engineers will always try to make the product better, whatever it means for them. So you'll constantly have to learn about the new updates when you don't own your tools. Do you want to have control over how the tool works, meaning not having to invest time and mind space remembering where things are and how to use them? Do you want to make sure there is no hidden cost in what you're doing? So let me give you an example. Some CRM softwares offer to build a website for you. So what's the hidden cost to that? Well, did you know that the website structure is one of the most important factors that will determine whether or not your website will rank from an SEO standpoint? So just so you know, if you want to optimize the structure of your website afterwards, then you'll kind of have to start over. And so the next thing is, are you willing to adapt your workflow? Are you willing to spend time aligning what you do with how the software works? Because a CRM software works a certain way, and if your workflow is different, you'll have to adapt for it. So one thing to understand here is that they have the leverage. So if your CRM has very specific features that you're using in your workflows, then if they suddenly decide to double their monthly subscription for whatever reason, let's say inflation, then you'll kind of have to put up with it. Because again, as I talked about already, what would be the cost of changing software and having to change all of your workflows? Now, if you do want to own your own tools, you can click on the link in the description to get a free online course that will help you to do that. Now let's move forward, and if you think that buying a software is not for you, then what about DIYing it and doing it yourself? Now I do think this is the best thing to do, because when you start, you don't know what you'll do, you don't know what you'll need, your workflows are not well defined yet, and you need to create your own workflows and your own system and make them better before moving forward. At some point it won't be worth it to DIY everything because you'll waste too much time and energy doing it. But what if you're not at that point yet? How do you prepare so that you're ready when you get to that point? So basically, how do you get started? Well, you start by developing your skills. I'm talking about real things that will actually last, not just learning about how software works. The point is to develop your skills now so you don't have to develop them later when you're busy and in the trenches. If things start becoming chaotic, you'll need to be able to be fast on your feet and fix it right away by creating the tools that will help you run your business. The next thing is creating your own backend systems. So that can be everything that is related to data. For example, having a fully automated high-level dashboard to keep track of customer progress, measure business performance, business metrics, leads, keep track of different projects, keep track of earnings, finances, taxes, and expenses might be a good idea. This is to make sure that all details are accounted for automatically. You don't want anything slipping through the cracks. The point is to have full ownership on the way you do things. So let's say you want to do that and have, let's say, one dashboard for your client information so that you can manage all your clients in one place. So those information might be things like when you started working with your client, the birthday of your client, the coming up vacations, or whatever it is, anything that is relevant to you and that you need to use when you're working with that client. And you might be thinking, how do I manage all that information? Because if I put everything into an Excel file, it's going to be very difficult to manage. And that's the kind of thing where you need to create your own tools to do the data management. And you might think, but I don't know anything about data management. Well, quite frankly, me neither. All you need to know is the data you need for your business. What do you need when you're working with a client? What are the relevant data about that specific client? Do you need to keep track of the client progress throughout your process? Do you need to keep track of when was the last time your client paid you? What are the relevant information that you need in your business? And that's the whole point of creating your own tools. You are not going to get overwhelmed by information you don't need. And so right now you might think, well, that's great to have my own tools, but am I never going to have to use external software to do certain things? And of course, you might have to use external software to do certain things, but here is the point. Use replaceable apps. Instead of using a CRM software, use apps that have a specific purpose. If you use Google Drive to share things with your client, well, that app is doing one single thing. So what does that matter? Well, because now you have the leverage. If there is a problem with that software, you can change it and it's not going to have a huge cost. If you need to change or improve your system or workflows, well, changing that small part won't change your whole system. The problem is when you have one external software that has a disproportionate amount of leverage on your company. It's basically the same idea as being diversified when you are investing into something. Now, let me know in the comments if you disagree with any of the things that I said in this video, or if you chose a different path for your business. Have a great day. See you in the next video.